I have just come from a funeral for Sergeant Brewster with almost all these people. None of us can remember a time in Harris County when there's been 3 cop killers in the Harris County Jail at one time.
On the day that Houston police officer is laid to rest, an arrest is made in the death of another police officer. Deputies arrested Tavores Henderson this afternoon near Sunnyside for the murder of Nassau Bay Police Sergeant Kaila Sullivan. Deputies say he confessed. Henderson is now facing a capital murder charge.
We also heard this today, the Harris County DA saying Henderson's mother, Tiffany, and her boyfriend will also face charges.
Now a timeline of what has happened. Tavores Henderson was pulled over by police on Tuesday night in Nassau Bay. He was wanted for a domestic abuse charge. Investigators say he broke away from officers, jumped in his car, and ran over Sergeant Sullivan.
We have team coverage this afternoon, starting with Larry Siebert, who is downtown Houston. Larry?
Well, Len, investigators told me Henderson did not fight, fuss, or argue when arrested. He came out in a white T-shirt, hands up, and that he actually confessed to investigators about what he did on Tuesday night. Here's a look at Henderson during that arrest in Sunnyside. As you mentioned, they say he admitted to seeing Sergeant Sullivan hanging on the side of his Jeep when he drove off, but didn't explain why he refused to stop. When caught this afternoon, he was inside a Sunnyside home that belonged to a girlfriend, we're told. 2 other people were also inside, neither charged yet, but Sheriff Ed Gonzalez did not rule that out. The night Sergeant Kaila Sullivan died, authorities say Henderson was in Nassau Bay visiting another girlfriend, speeding down a street. Very early on in the investigation, detectives knew he was getting help from someone. Some of that help allegedly came from his mom and her boyfriend.
We have upgraded the charge to capital murder for the actual defendant, Mr. Henderson. His mother aided him that night in escaping. She is charged with hindering. She also lied to the sheriff's deputies that night. Her boyfriend drove the car that helped him escape. He is being charged with 3rd-degree hindering apprehension. We still have a long timeline from that moment to the time we arrested him today. Anyone that helped him during that time is going to face the same charge.
Assistant District Attorney Sean Tier there told us that the mom's boyfriend drove Henderson to a hotel. As you're looking at video of Henderson headed to jail, those other 2 charged are both in custody
hey guys,
this evening. Their names not yet released, mugshots not yet released, but we're expecting to have that shortly. But again, we'll have more on that coming up tonight at 6. Lynn, back to you.
And here, Larry Seaward, thank you so much. Developing our team coverage continues now with Sherman Chow, who is live at the house where Henderson was arrested. Sherman?
Yeah, Mia, we are here in Southeast Houston, and Harris County deputies, detectives just clearing the scene, pulling up that crime scene tape here on Heritage Trails. The house in question, this red brick one behind me. Now, neighbors tell us that a new family recently moved in here just a couple of months ago. They are renters and may be a girlfriend of the suspects. Harris County Adrian Garcia has been the Harris County Sheriff Gonzalez has been very vocal, warning that anyone helping the suspect hiding him faces up to 5 years in prison. A tipster led deputies to this location, authorities using a bullhorn calling the 21-year-old out, and Henderson did surrender peacefully. This is a photo of his arrest shared by deputies. Neighbors tell us it was very loud when it happened. There was helicopters, patrol units on the scene around the noon hour. Authorities raided Henderson's mother's home yesterday. As you've heard, she too has been arrested for hindering the investigation in this case. She lives about 2 miles from here, and residents in this neighborhood very well aware of how close that is.
Last night I really thought, what if he's in this area and he's walking around? And I thought about when I was taking my dog out.
She was closer to the truth than she knew. As you have heard, Henderson has a very lengthy criminal history, including for domestic violence. He has posted videos of himself on Instagram and social media, posing with weapons, bail money he's used to get out, and he is calling himself on Instagram the real Killer Dre. Given his history and the manhunt for this accused cop killer, neighbors here, as you can imagine, are very relieved that this suspect is off the streets. Back to y'all.
All right, Sherman, thank you. Let's take a look now at a growing memorial. This is for Sergeant Christopher Sullivan Kaila Sullivan. This is in front of a Nassau Bay City Hall. Everyone from first responders to strangers continuing to pay their respects. We will share funeral arrangements as soon as we get the information.